is Jay-Z a predator? People have been pointing to, well, look at your track record here.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw Podcast. My name is Adam. Glyn over there is Dax Holt. We are the Hollywood Raw Podcast, two entertainment news producers, journalists who have been in this industry for over 2 decades now. And we work on stories, we break stories, and we talk about these stories on our podcast. We talk to sometimes celebrities, sometimes we talk to journalists, publicists, bodyguards, chefs. We talk to them all, paparazzi, we talk to them all, and sometimes Dax and I just like to talk to each other. Dax, I want to start the podcast with an apology. All right, buddy?
Oh, I am here for it. Yes, sir. What do you have to say?
I feel like I've been going through something, and I haven't told you about it for a long time, and I haven't talked about it with you, and I kind of been dangling it in front of your head a little bit, and I never really told you, and I've been acting weird on the podcast, and it's because I had a headache. See how you were let down by that, Dex? Everyone was just let down.
You know what,
by
though? Here's the thing, Adam. I know it's going to be some kind of bullshit. Just the way you start talking, I'm like, and do the bullshit.
Well, here's the thing is, all that anticipation, you're expecting some big answer why I might have been acting funny or weird on the podcast, and I just told you I had a headache. That's how I feel about Jamie Foxx's stand-up special. We're thinking about he's going to reveal what happened to him, this mystery illness. We're built up. Was it something that happened to him at Diddy party? Was it something that was he drugged? What actually happened? And it was just a stroke.
Nope. You're not supposed to break it right there. We were supposed to get into the topic, but now you just you blew the load at the top before we even got ready for it. That is.
I don't know. I was disappointed by the whole thing. Let's get right into it, man.
Disappointed? A stroke is a big deal, and so
it is a big deal. But weren't you it sounds terrible, but you were hoping to hear it was more than just a stroke. We waited 2 years to hear that you had a stroke. I mean, we like you. We don't care about you that much, but it's like the strokes are very common.
I guess this is why the whole situation is weird, is because a stroke, as bad as it is, it's a very normal thing for people to go through. Like, you hear about people having strokes all the time. The way that there was so much secrecy surrounding this, you really expected something more. Like, he had the hamster up his butt and he had to go get it removed from the hospital. Like, that's the story that you expected because it was so secret. And then you're like, okay, well, wasn't that? And that's why I was convinced that it had to be maybe like a rehab kind of thing, because again, it's something that was controllable, but it's embarrassing. I don't feel like a stroke is embarrassing. It's a medical condition you could not control. It happened. Again, who are we to say? We are not the ones that had the medical issue that didn't want the world to know. He is talking about it now. He had this whole Netflix special where he's like, hey, listen, I suffered a stroke last year and it nearly took his life. And he opened up about it. So if you want to go watch it, the Netflix series.
It's called Jamie Foxx, What Had Happened Was.
Yeah, what has happened was. And I guess he suffered a brain bleed, and that's what happened back in April of 2023 that led to the stroke while he was filming that movie Back in Action in Atlanta. So that's what we waited 2 years for. That answer right there is what we waited 2 years for.
Were you let down a little bit? I mean,
no,
don't get me wrong. It's a very personal, emotional thing for you personally, but it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. And the way you were built up, I thought there was going to be something more. I mean, obviously there was the Diddy rumors, which, he's like, screw it, talk about the Diddy stuff. I have nothing probably to do with it. I want you to think that just to bring more eyeballs to my special. But I mean, I was sort of let down, but I will give credit to where credit's due. I give credit to his inner circle because everyone shut up.
No one said
keep a secret like that.
It's pretty amazing. And I would say, so he recounts it, basically said, look, and he's actually tearing up in this special. He's getting emotional. He said, look, April 11th, I was having a bad headache and I asked my boy for an aspirin. I realized quickly that when you're in a medical emergency, your boys don't know what the fuck to do.
Wait, first of all, you said, let's be clear. He asked his boy for an aspirin, he asked his boyfriend for an aspirin.
No, boys, like his buddies.
Okay. I thought he said he asked his boyfriend for an aspirin. I was like, what?
And then he said before he could even get the aspirin, he was out cold. And the next thing he knew, 20 days in the hospital had passed and he had no memory of them. But I feel like it was way more than 20 days where there was no word on his condition. And I think that was the real scary part for a lot of the fans in the world, where you're like, wait, so is he in the hospital? Is he out of the hospital? Like, what's happening? It's been 20 days. Like, something really, really crazy is happening. And that he says that he reveals that his pals initially took him to a doctor who sent him home with a cortisone shot, but that his sister, who had sensed something was off and drove him to, I guess, the hospital. He said that is where doctors confirmed to his sister that he was having a brain bleed and that it had caused a stroke. Without immediate surgery, he might not have survived. So crazy story still.
Yes.
I just don't know why there was so much secrecy around it. Again, his medical condition, not mine. So who am I to speak? But it just doesn't seem like something that needed to be under veil for 2 years.
Yeah, and
I guess, but he wasn't promoting anything. This is when you use the information when you need to promote a project.
Yeah, I mean, and it's pretty impressive. I have to imagine he didn't tour with this at all. He just sort of like did it in one night. So how we do like a one-man show type special and talked about it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not watch this special. It came out, we're filming this on Tuesday, came out at midnight last night.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I didn't stay up till that. But then now it's like, now I don't want to hear a story like how he saw the light at the end of the, everyone has the same story. Saw the light at the tunnel. And
I think it's interesting though. So for people that believe in this, like life after death, or that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, he kind of confirmed that's what he saw. He said, I saw the tunnel. I didn't see the light. I was in that tunnel though, and it was hot in that tunnel. He goes, shit, I'm going the wrong place, this motherfucker. He thought he was going to hell because it was a hot tunnel. Because he looked at the end of the tunnel, he thought, I saw the devil, like, come on. And then he got emotional when he said he woke up from weeks long in this coma and realized that he was in a wheelchair. And, but, you know, he's obviously made an incredible full recovery and is back to himself. So I'm glad he's finally sharing it, because now we can close that chapter in the Jamie Foxx saga. Is like, okay, we now know, we check, we move on.
But like I said, Dax, someone like you, were you hoping that there'd be something more?
No, I honestly had just convinced myself that it was.
I think that's what
it was some kind of rehab. Like, I had convinced myself it was rehab. Because we had talked about it for so long and it was so secretive that's in my mind, that's what it was.
Yeah. All right. Before we get more into today's episode, because I wanted to start you off with a rant, because again, I was a little upset about it. We appreciate reviews. We read them on the podcast. Dax, do you have a review ready for us?
I got one, a current one, just because it popped up and I was like, oh, I need to read this one. But this one from Christiane 432 says, love you guys, 5 stars. Adam, it's Landman.
It is Landman. Yeah, it is. I found that out actually. I'll tell you what. I found that out recently. I found it the other day. It's called Landman.
What did you call it on the other
Landmine? Because it seems like it's like landmines, but it's Landman. And I will say this. Yeah. Thank you to everyone in our private Facebook. Before you even finish the review, thank you to everyone in our private Facebook group, Off the Record, because they said to stick with the show, and I've stuck with the show, and it's actually a very good show. Billy Bob Thornton's awesome in it. He deserves a Golden Globe. We'll talk about that more too. Anyway, back to the reviews.
All right, so back to this review. Chrissy said, hi, I live in Midland, Odessa, and the oil field life is all I know. That being said, I love the show. Billy Bob's one-liners are hilarious, and those are actual things said. That being said, love you guys. I look forward to y'all's show every week. Thank you. And by the way, there's a lot of exclamation points in this review, which I love. Dax, I've been a fan since TMZ. Back in the day, it was my show. Look forward to an amazing 2025 from y'all. Well, Christiane, thank you for this review. It was wonderful. I grabbed it. I saw it. And I said, this is very timely. I need to grab this one and read it, because if I read it in like 5 weeks, which is normally the run rate time to get a review on, this would be old news. So thank you. And it's Landman.
Man, not land her. Landman. Christiane, thank you so much for reviewing. Again, I'm watching the show Landman right now. It's really good. Billy Bob Thornton's funny. All right.
Here's the thing. Can I say something?
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest with our audience today. We had a very different show planned for today. And then it seemed like all the news was breaking in the first half of the week, and that we cannot ignore the amount of big breaking stories happening this week. So we're almost doing like a mini version of the Raw Rundown. We're not going to count them off. We just need to talk about them because there's too much breaking to kind of almost ignore them and wait for the Raw Rundown on this weekend. So we're going to jump into them. We're going to give you our opinions on stuff like the Jay-Z case. I think there's a lot to dive into with this because it is by far the biggest story of the week. But there's a bunch of other things that I want to talk about with Madonna and Megan Fox and all these other things. So bear with us. It's going to be a different structure than we normally do. But I think that we'd be remiss to not talk about all this stuff right now because it may be old news come Friday. So
Sure.
that is the honest truth of it. Do you want to talk Megan? You want to talk Liam Payne, Madonna? What is tickling your fancy today, Adam?
Well, yeah, I think actually the Madonna thing. So I was on social media, just like everyone else, and I was actually on Daily Mail, and I saw the photos of Madonna walking in the streets of New York City with her now boyfriend. She is 66 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Her boyfriend is 28 years old. 28 years old, she's 66. We always salute men when they get attractive women. You know, like the Hollywood stars, men who oh man, look who he's with now, the Pete Davidsons of the world. Like we salute them. We give them the high five. Like it's awesome. Look at the girls you're getting. That old, you know, like they're gorgeous. How about Madonna gets her roses? I mean, here's a girl who doesn't get as much press as she once did. I mean, she's not dating anybody that's super famous anymore. However, here's a woman who's in her 60s, her later 60s now, and she's still picking up young guys and having relationships and having fun. I mean, she deserves her flowers.
My opinion is this is Madonna. This is what she has always done, though. Like, I don't feel like this is any different from the Madonna. I would be more shocked if Madonna started dating a 70-year-old. Like, that would be weird to me. I'd be like, what the hell is happening? Madonna dating someone her age? That would be a weird story. So I think that this is pretty on par for her. This guy, like you said, he's 28. His name's Akeem Morris. This is the second time she's dated him. He was like a former football, like soccer star. And she dated him, I want to say like last year, but then dated someone in between and now is hanging out with this guy once again. And they're going shopping and stuff. I don't know. It seems on brand for Madonna, in my opinion.
Well, yes, she does date young guys, and it's on brand, but I don't think people realize or give her the respect she deserves for always being able to get younger guys. She has dated older people before. I mean, back in 1989, when she was doing Dick Tracy, she actually dated Warren Beatty for about 15 months, and he was about 21 years older than her. So she has dated people her age or older. But, you know, as of in the last few years, even when she was a little bit younger, she's always dated young, good-looking guys. And, I mean, that's
do you remember when she
impressive.
You know, do you remember she dated the boxing coach? But, like, the boxing coach, she literally met through her son, David Banda, which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, okay,
you know
so
who broke that story?
Your son's friends. Did you break that story?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's my story.
Oh, that's funny.
That guy had a gym. I'll tell you how I broke the story. There was a guy who the guy who ran the building where his gym is sort of told me because I guess he saw her there and basically he has said something's going on. And I work out in the same building as that guy at the boxing gym.
Gotcha.
I have a crazy story. Want to hear a crazy story?
No, I don't. Don't tell me a crazy story, Adam. Don't tell me a crazy story. I want to hear boring stories.
I'm going to tell you a crazy story, but we can't clip this. Go back. No clipping this, okay?
You can't clip this.
We're not clipping this and put it on social media.
You don't want to highlight it, is what you're saying.
Correct. But years ago, remember the first Lourdes's dad, okay? Yeah. Carlos Leon. Remember she was dating Carlos Leon?
Yeah.
This had to been like 14, 15 years ago. I'm driving down Bleecker Street in Manhattan, and all of a sudden, I'm in my car. I was driving my car, and Carlos Leon is on a bike with his buddy right next to me. It's the first time I've never told you this story. Again, we're not clipping this. So I'm driving down Bleecker Street, and Carlos Leon is on a bicycle with his buddy next to me. We pull up to the stop sign. We look at each other. We go back. Get to the next stop sign. He's riding along. I get to the stop sign. He looks at me. He looks back. I'll get, we're kind of like driving up pace with each other somehow, just based on traffic and the way he's riding the speed. We go to the next one. We look at each other. We look back. Finally, get to the red light. And then I'm stopped. And I look at him. He looks back. I'm like checking him out. Like, oh, shit, that's Carlos Leon. Like, to me, I grew up reading Star Magazine. He was all over those magazines back in the day. So all of a sudden, he sees me. And it was a nice day. It was a summer day. And he goes, what are you looking at? And I go, I'm sorry, man. I'm just checking out your bike. I'm a bike guy. I was just checking out. I'm just checking out your bike. Yeah, who the fuck checks out bikes? And he said to me, and this is what he said to me: "What are you, an effing
F word?
A derogatory gay term?"
Yeah.
And I said,
F word.
Yeah, F word. And I said, no, dude, I'm just checking out your bike, man. Relax. And he's like, his buddy's like, don't tell him to relax. And I was like, dude, guys, like, chill. Like, this is. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? Like, chill. So all of a sudden the light turned green. I go, you know what? Because like they're being like total dicks to me. I go, you know what? Why don't you go? I said to him, oh my God. I said, why don't you go fuck Madonna? And I took off. And like I total dick move on my behalf. They're like, why are you telling this story? And I know it was a total dick move. I go, why don't you fuck Madonna? And I take off driving. He goes, you motherfucker. He starts chasing me on his bike. I'm racing through downtown. I'm racing through the West Village. He's chasing me on his bike. I'm like, whoa. Brrr. I'm like flying through the West Village. I'm going past the West Village. I'm going through, I remember up Bleecker, and then I went around onto McDougal, go around the park. Now I'm driving by Bar Pity, and the paparazzi are sitting out Bar Pity because at that time, I used to hang out there and try to see who'd go to Bar Pity. And the paparazzi see me flying by Bar Pity, and like, whoa, Adam must be on someone. And next thing you know, they're watching me. And next thing you know, who do they see? Carlos Leon, you piece of shit, you motherfucker, on a bike. They're like, whoa, what is going on? Like, what did Adam do that Carlos Leon is chasing him on a bike? And then he finally gave up because I remember getting on 6th Avenue. And I was like, 6th Avenue. And I kind of like, he wasn't going to catch up to me. And then I stopped the car and I kind of got in my car. I was like, you piece of shit. And then he started chasing after me again. And then I flew down and he never got to me.
I think it would have been better that, and when he looked over and he's like, what are you looking at? And you said, I'm checking out the bike. He's like, what are you, an effing F word? And you say, no, I like to fuck bikes. That would have been better.
No, I think I would stick bikes in my anus. Yeah.
Oh, God. Well,
yeah, what are you, effing F word? No, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to stick that bike into my anus, sir. Oh, my God.
I was going to say.
Sorry for the random story, guys.
It really was a random story. I must say, Adam, you are full of random stories. But when going back to Madonna and really,
jeez,
I know we deviated big time on that one. But I was going to say, with Madonna, it really is. If you look at the people she's dated, she has dated some of the biggest stars in the world. With like, obviously with Sean Penn. I mean, that's one of the most famous relationships she's ever had. But Michael Jackson and oh my God, Dennis Rodman and Vanilla Ice. By the way, I love that she dated Vanilla Ice. And the next person she dated was Tupac. Like, she was like, oh shit, I fucked this up. I dated like a super white rapper. Now I need to like date like a real rapper. And then she dated Tupac right after that. And then there was, I forget who else, but she's dated some amazingly famous people, huge profile, like high profile relationships, really an interesting life.
Such an interesting, it's fascinating.
Is she doing any? She's working on a memoir, right? Didn't I read that somewhere that she's working on something?
Have to check. You probably know better than I do. I mean, because it is fascinating. I mean, her life,
we think Britney's life will be fascinating in a movie. Madonna's, I think, will be 10 times more fascinating. Honestly, the amount of connections that she has, the big things that she's done throughout her life. I think the Madonna story will be one of the best movies ever made once it happens. And it'll happen if we've seen these other ones. What the hell am I thinking of? What the fuck's his name?
Well, Madonna's brother did come out with a book.
No. What the hell's his name? Piano Man. What's his name?
Elton John.
Elton John. God damn, I couldn't think of it. But the fact that Elton John's movie was made while he was alive, I think Madonna should do the same thing.
Bruce Springsteen's book is being Bruce
Like,
Springsteen's life is being made about him.
yeah, that to
Bob
me
Dylan.
is still
These guys are still alive.
Yeah, but their lives don't interest me as much as like a Madonna would be, and Elton's. I don't know. Their personas on stage and in real life are just so much more interesting. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Bruce Springsteen has had an amazing career. Do I think that he's got all these crazy stories behind? Maybe, but does Madonna have more? I'm sure.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Anyway. Wow, how did we spend that long on Madonna? That was crazy.
Sorry about that. It was my fault. I got into the story, and I don't think I even told you about that story ever. So I just wanted to. I don't know if that was a good decision, but we're gonna go with it. Obviously, one thing, Dax, that's really people are talking about is this Jay-Z story. Tell me.
Well, do you want to talk?
Can we? Don't know.
I want to leave Jay-Z. Can we talk Liam Payne first? Just because Jay-Z, I feel like we're going to be on for a while. It is the big story of the week. Let's do Liam. Let's talk Megan Fox, and then we'll get to Jay-Z if you don't mind. Okay. Again, we didn't really have this planned out as much because we had something else planned. So sorry if it's a little funky-dunky for the listeners. But Liam Payne, there is some more information coming out of Argentina right now. It sounds like there are 2 more hotel workers that could be charged in his death. There's a judge who is considering more charges in this case, which is kind of a big deal. I mean, it seems like the judge, or at least Argentina, they know how much pressure they have on their back to figure out all the ins and outs of this case, and they're actually truly doing that. But authorities are reportedly weighing charges against 2 more people in connection with his death investigation, and this is all according to new legal documents that have been obtained. So law enforcement sources are confirming to TMZ that a judge is considering charging I guess filing new charges on Monday against 2 employees at the Casa Sur Porlemo Hotel, where he obviously fell to his death off that 3rd floor balcony. But the judge is referring to both the receptionist who called 911 twice in the morning, the day that Liam died, and the hotel manager as people who might be charged. And I think this goes back to, if you saw that video, or at least the screen grab of the people carrying Liam back to through the lobby, back to his room, like literally minutes before he passed away. And I think that the documents say that there is sufficient reason to suspect that these people have participated in the investigated act, and that we asked that the following people give a statement, I guess, because they want to know what exactly happened. Why was 911 not called earlier? Why was there no doctor at the hotel, as it is stated that there was supposed to be? And why would you leave someone alone after clearly they were acting erratic, and you drag them up to her hotel room, close the door, and then go, nothing wrong could go wrong at this point. Like, if you see someone I guess this goes back to like when you're at a bar and someone is so plastered drunk, and you know that they've got their keys in their hand. At the bar, you should either not let them drive or remove their keys, right? There is some, you have to have some level of like responsibility on the person who decided to just turn their back on a situation and let that person take their life at risk when you know they clearly are not in a stable point, or at a point where they're even thinking clearly.
I think my biggest takeaway from the latest of what's going on is the Argentinian police trying to help out the hotel? Are they trying to kind of put in a good word for them so they doesn't?
Why would the police give 2 fucks about the hotel?
Well, because they it's such a worldwide story. They don't want to hurt Argentinian tourism.
I don't think Argentinian tourism is exactly a big strong point right now. We have a lot of family down in Argentina. My wife's whole family is basically down there, and the government as a whole needs to step up, and the economy needs to step up as a whole to really promote tourism. But I think, the cops, I think everyone's just like trying to point at each other and go, oh, this is not my fault, when it really, listen, that 911 call was made, and that person at the desk told the dispatchers the guests had too many drugs and alcohol, and that they were trashing their entire room. And that the second call, they said
they took the mirror, Dax. They took the mirror out of his room because they thought, hey, he shouldn't have a mirror in his room in case that were to break. Like, they're take furniture out of the room because
and then
it's the second call.
said that the guest may be in danger. So like you've acknowledged all of the problems, but then what did you do? You shut the door and opened the balcony and said like, let's see what happens. Like I think that's the bigger problem, that there may have been people that while they didn't hurt him or they didn't try to hurt them, they also didn't try to stop him from hurting himself. And that's the issue.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to bring that story up just because we've covered this story a lot, and I think there's a lot more that will still come out over the next few weeks. But I want to just keep everyone up to date with what is happening. So there is that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Next big story. You sent this one to me this morning. You were like, oh my God. But Megan Fox, Machine Gun Kelly have broken up, according to TMZ. And this comes literally right after she announced that she was pregnant, which is some craziness. I just saw the photos of her on her Instagram, holding her belly, all of that kind of stuff. And it sounds like there are sources connected to TMZ that are saying that Megan and MGK have ended the things over Thanksgiving weekend while they're still together in Vail, Colorado. And they said that the reason for the split is that Megan found, quote unquote, material on MGK's phone that was upsetting, and it made her want to leave him and leave the trip early. And so that's where they're at with that. This is not the first time they've broken up. They've called it quits numerous times before. They seem to have a very up and down kind of relationship. But this is different. Now you got a baby inside of you. This is a very different situation. What do you think was on MGK's phone that Megan found and then is the reason that she left him?
I mean, what do I think? I mean, it could have been old photos, could have been recent photos. I think, why was he holding on to old photos? Potentially.
You think it's photos? No, I would lean towards texts. That's my guess. Because of photos, that could be passed. But if you get a brand new text from someone that is saying something, and again, guys, this is us totally speculating. We have absolutely no fucking clue.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're just speculating.
But I would say a text is what set her off. Because I feel like in the past, didn't she accuse him of not, I guess, cheating on her or something like that, or alluded to the fact that he was talking to other people?
There's something along the lines. I don't want to be fact checked on that, but also, Dax, I think you would understand. There is the other side where when women are pregnant, I would say they could be a little bit more emotional. So maybe it was taken out of context a little bit.
Yep. And send your hate mail to Adam at adamhatespregnancy.com.
I know. I'm just asking for hate mail at this point, dude.
You really are. Like, I think at this point you understand that hate mail is just a part of your gig.
Listen, I'm the Spencer Pratt of the podcast. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I think they'll be back together in a week or two. I mean, it's just what they do. It seems, I can't say that that's a healthy relationship to be up and down all the time. I don't think that's a relationship that would be good to bring a brand new baby. Having a brand new newborn in the house is one of the most stressful things that you could possibly have in your life. Like, you get no sleep. You're just like, oh my God, this thing doesn't sleep. I mean, granted, they probably have a little help that I did not have when my children were born. And, but you're tired, you're exhausted. So it'll crack you. All right. So I don't know if you saw this other story, Adam, but Megan Fox is also now being connected to one of her co-stars from this new movie that she did. Movie is like Subservience, I think is what it's called, where she plays like this AI robot and seduces the dude. Well, the other guy in the movie, his name is Michael Morrone. People are I think maybe Michele Morrone, Michael. I don't know how you say his name. I guess they posted a video, and it was from like a year ago. They shot this video, and people are saying, oh wow, it looks like they have like all this chemistry. And so is this the reason that her and MGK broke up? And I can tell you both sides, her side and Morrone's side, are both saying, no. They did a movie a year ago The video was not shot in either person's home. It was literally while they were filming the movie on set. So like, let's not turn this and twist it and make it something more than it is. They are saying there is no relationship between Megan Fox and her co-star from that Subservience movie. So get it out of your head is at least what they're saying. Your thoughts on that?
I think it's this guy trying to bring heat on. I think it's the producers of the movie trying to bring attention to the movie. I think it could be also the actor trying to bring attention on this guy because I never heard of him. So I think
I saw the previews. I happened to be at home on Saturday, like looking for like a movie to watch, and I saw it come up. It looked really strange. I mean, again, I think it's that like AI, turns bad on you and, whatever. I did not watch it, but all the main characters, very good looking folks. So there you go.
I will say this, and I just want to go back to what we said about them also having history in the relationship before. If you remember, Dax, and this just came up to me, that Megan, I guess there was reports that Machine Gun Kelly was having an affair with his guitarist, a female guitarist in this group.
That's what it was. Remember that? I had forgotten. Yep. But I think the guitarist was like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of rumors of infidelity back then.
Sure, but again, when you start to hear that, it doesn't help a relationship. Everything could be going great in the relationship. There's no way something like that even helps the relationship.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about obviously the biggest story of this week.
Yes, the shooter.
No, we are not doing the shooter. That is covered by every other podcast and channel out there. Not talking the shooter. If you want to know about the shooter of that CEO, go read it somewhere else. We're not talking about it here. Obviously, it's Jay-Z. Jay-Z now being accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. And this is all a part of a Diddy lawsuit. This is actually the lawsuit we talked about a couple weeks ago, where there was Diddy, an unnamed celebrity, accused of raping this 13-year-old girl after the VMAs. She was taken by car back to one of their parties, and that she claims that she entered and basically was handed a drink. She drank some of it, very little of it, and ended up losing, she began feeling very woozy, wound up finding a place to lay down. She claims that she woke up and saw that she was being raped by the celebrity who she is now claiming in this lawsuit is Jay-Z, and that Diddy and a female that she also recognized, a female woman, were watching this all go down. Did I just say a female woman? Sorry, I was so focused on the details that came out. But anyway, that this woman and Diddy were watching the whole thing go down. So very interesting. Jay-Z has come out swinging, though, very upset about this whole thing. He is claiming that it is 100% bullshit. He is claiming that Tony Busby, who is this lawyer that is representing a bunch of the accusers in this Diddy case, is basically trying to blackmail celebrities, trying to get them to pay in order to not have this type of situation where a lawsuit is filed with a name in there, because it was originally filed basically with the name redacted as unknown, and now it's been refiled with his name in there. And so during this time, these couple of weeks, in between the time the first one dropped and this one, I guess Tony Busby has been reaching out to Diddy to Jay-Z and basically saying, if you don't want your name revealed, let's work out the details. So Jay-Z is saying that he is not going to be extorted. He is not going to be blackmailed, that he does not play by those games. He is basically saying he's from the hood and you don't fuck with him. So put the name out there. His people know that this is not a true situation. He's saying it is 100% fabrication and that there is no truth behind the stories. That being said, Adam, the next big question a lot of people have been asking, I've been watching online, is Beyonce connected? Is Beyonce connected to these? Because we knew it was already going to be a matter of time where Jay-Z was connected to something. Whether or not he is guilty, innocent, that stands to be figured out in a court of law. But it starts to make you think, okay, in this lawsuit, it says Diddy was there in the room, Jay-Z was there, and then an unknown or a known woman was also there. do you think that it is a matter of time before they reveal that that is a Beyonce name, or why do you think that they would say it is a famous woman also watching?
I think it's good to hold something like the anticipation, the excitement, the nervousness for everyone that's within the story. I look at what we just did about the first year regarding Jamie Foxx. When you kind of keep things in the distance and don't really get to the point right away, it keeps people kind of interested into this story, especially the lawyers. They want to know that they have something, they have some information that another people might not have, and they'll pay for that type of information. Jay-Z Dax was very quick to respond to these allegations. In this.
Okay, do you see that as a negative? Like, as in, he was quick to respond because he is truly innocent, or because he wants to bury this and move on? Because we've learned through the past, very rich, powerful people can truly make things disappear. So is it showing innocence or power?
I would say both.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not maybe the answer you want to hear, but I would say it's both. I think Jay-Z was like, let's escalate even more. Let's not put voices in the back. People said, I have nothing to do with this. And I think a lot of people, the media, the lawyers are using the media sort of at their hand, sort of like with the OJ case, where they want to take everyone down with them. This is good TV right here. And I say that not it sounds weird to say, but yes, like the lawyers are using the media as pawns to kind of take advantage of our interest in this story and to egg on the story. And hopefully, I guess originally they were hoping for Jay-Z just to pay up, and now it's like balls to the wall. Let's play the game. And I mean, this lawyer they're having some serious PR for themselves. Am I right? I mean, but this is a commercial for him.
I guess what I look at is, like I said, we've seen very powerful people get out of stuff in the past because they have the money, they have the influence, they have whatever it is, and it makes people feel like they're above the law. Do you think Jay-Z feels like he is above the law? Because, when I look back in history and people got out of crazy shit before, like look at OJ. He got out of some crazy shit because of who he was and because of the political climate going on at that time in Los Angeles. So, is this a situation where you scream, I'm innocent, I'm innocent, I'm innocent long enough and people go, okay, well, he's innocent, and move on? Or no?
I think with Jay-Z, people are trying to use his history as evidence why this could possibly true.
So you're talking like Aaliyah kind of stuff?
Yeah, like listen, Beyonce was 18. She was 18 when she met Jay-Z, and they've both said that they didn't start dating right away. I mean, they became friends first, but I think it took them like nearly about 2 years or so until they started to date. So, but again, she was 18 when they met, and he was 30. So I think it's like, why was a 30-year-old kind of, I'm just assuming people have those ideas where why is a 30-year-old putting himself onto an 18-year-old or kind of.
Well, I remember Aaliyah was very young when Jay-Z first met her. And the stories go that he was making advances and she kind of avoided those advances. And that was back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, somewhere around there, but that she avoided it. And that's when like Beyonce kind of came into the picture and like attentions were distracted and all of that kind of stuff. So I think people have been pointing to, well, look at your track record here. Is Jay-Z a predator? Because we were looking back at his record and going, okay, he may have potentially gone for Aaliyah when she was pretty young. Oh, he met Beyonce when she was 18 and he was, 20? No. How old was Beyonce? Beyonce was 18 at the time. He was in his late 20s or early 30s, right? He's a lot older than her.
Yeah, when he met first, just on record, they're saying she met him when she was 18, he was 30. But then they didn't start dating for 2 years after.
But you know what it was? It's other people claim that that Beyonce and him first met when she was 16 and he was 28. That's what it was.
Okay.
People are saying that they first met, but then like the acknowledgement of like getting to know each other was when she was 18. And so that's why people, I think, for many, many years have pointed the finger at Jay-Z being like, that was inappropriate. So I think now you add this lawsuit into the mix, and that's why people are so easy to raise up their hand and say, oh, he's guilty, when you don't really know. I do think with him going out and immediately being seen, if you didn't see the video, it's actually like a really cute video of Blue Ivy walking the red carpet of the new Lion King movie. And it's her and all the photographers are taking pictures, and the camera pans back and it's Jay-Z and Beyonce standing on the sideline, cheering her on, being so excited for her in this moment where she is the star and they are like the spectators. It's cute. And then you think like, oh, wow, but he stepped out in the middle of all of this craziness, all this focus and attention on him, and he's stepping out. I look at Diddy and think of everything that he went through and how he said, I'm innocent, I'm innocent, I'm innocent, immediately was seen. He did not stop doing the normal things he did. He was out riding his bike all over the place, making statements, making videos, posting on social media to claim innocence. And then it was like shit stacked, kept going, and he was arrested. So I don't know. I don't know if claiming innocence is the best thing or being quiet is the best thing. I don't know these days.
What I will say is that genre, hip hop, they love drama. This is like, this fuels that the audience around hip hop. They love beefs. They love fights and all this. So, I mean, just like we all do. So it definitely has people talking. A lot of people are putting on the tinfoil hats, wondering if Jay-Z definitely has some sort of some history that could allude to him making this possibly true.
Did you see his statement about the one thing that I could relate to as a father? Is he said like, the thing that is most hurtful, because in this day and age, when you put out a story and make it as if it is fact, people read the story and instantly he is guilty in their minds, right? Like, it doesn't matter who says it. You're just like, yep, he's guilty. But he goes, the hard part is now we have to sit down and have a conversation with our children. And we have to tell our children, especially like Blue Ivy, about this situation, and that there are people out there who want to hurt you or are looking for money, or, they have their interests in mind, not yours, and that not everything you read is true. And I think there is a lot of validity to that, because, she's going to see that story that is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. Like, that's a gnarly story right there. And now Blue Ivy's going to go to school and her friends are going to be like, wow, I saw what the headlines say about your dad. And you have to have this young girl defend her family or her reputation because of a news story. Like, that to me really sucks about being a celeb and being someone so famous, the amount of shit that gets talked about you on a daily basis.
On to some more sad news, Dex. How do you feel about Taylor Swift's Eras Tour finally coming to an end?
For a second there was literally like, oh shit, what story is he talking? Who died that I forgot about? No, you can't be sad about this. This is a huge milestone. She should be so happy, so proud of how this entire concert tour went. It was almost 2 years. It was like 149 stops or something crazy like that.
This became Super Bowls for women. You travel. If this, you didn't just go to a concert in your home area. You would travel to go experience this. And I wouldn't say just women. I'd say people in general. They just made this. It might have been actually a harder ticket than the Super Bowl.
It really was unbelievable in the amount of money that it brought in, the amount of attention it brought in. Just, you forget that we've been talking about it for 2 straight years. It's the highest grossing tour of all time, over $2 billion. And you start to forget about how many things like kind of happened during those 2 years, and that they were big because the tour was happening. But like, looking back to, remember when Taylor Lautner showed up on stage? That was pretty cool. You look back at, she was dating Matt Healy back in the day.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, that feels like 10 years ago at this point, but her and Matt Healy, they had started dating, and then he would show up to her show and he was opening for a show and all this kind of stuff. And then they had like a really quick breakup because clearly that wasn't going to work out. And then next thing you know, she's dating Travis Kelce, and now he's showing up to Argentina, that first show that he showed up to down in Argentina. And then a couple tour shows later, he's coming out on stage. Like, so much has happened just because of this tour.
Just
I remember
even like the
Prince
bracelets,
William went.
the bracelet.
Yep.
Yeah, Prince William was it. Just the whole fascination regarding these the buddy bands from Saved by the Bell. Remember buddy bands from Saved by the Bell, where she made her own bracelets, and give everyone the bracelets became a big thing. I mean, the celebrities that were going to this tour, like the shows, it became a show within the show to see who was showing up at the shows.
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible, but it's also incredible for me. Like on the outside, I didn't go to one of the shows. I wasn't paying the amount of money that no one gave me a free ticket, and I wouldn't expect anyone to, and nor was I going to put up the money to afford to go to one of those shows. However, it's like when you see people break down watching her perform, I mean, that's pretty insane. Like when people cry watching her perform during parts of the song, and they knew everything that she was going to do. They knew the choreography. They knew how she surprisingly would go onto the stage, how she was kind of pushed out in a box, and everyone like knew that she was in the box and it was supposed to be a surprise, but we knew everything she was doing.
People, again, I was reading the comments because I think it went up on like puberty or whatever the hell the name of that IG page is, that she was wrapping up the last concert tour stop in Vancouver. And the amount of people that are just like overrated, like shitty, would never pay. And I'm thinking, okay, you don't like Taylor's music, but what you can respect her for is her work ethic. And she put on a 3.5 hour live concert in every continent around the world, or whatever it was. I guess it was like 7 continents, but like across the entire globe at all these different stops, 3.5 hours. I hate going to a party and having to do small talk for an hour and a half because I am exhausted and I'm over it. She put on a full stage performance through 3.5 hours, like 40 some songs, like really unbelievable stuff, and rocked the world. It's pretty cool.
I think also what about Taylor is how she's sort of created other artists like Sabrina Carpenter. Now, don't be wrong, Sabrina Carpenter had a career before she was kind of surrounded by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but you get that Taylor blessed by Taylor. It's
exactly.
A whole ball game.
Exactly. And I think Sabrina Carpenter is on that like level now where she was been blessed by Taylor, like you're the next. And the same thing with Gracie Abrams.
Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran was the same thing. She blessed Ed Sheeran. And again, that takes away none of his talent, right? Like he is insanely talented, but she opened up the world to his music, to a different platform, like much bigger than he could have ever really opened, or I don't want to say that, much faster than he could have ever done it himself. And that's what was cool. And you see all these people and they are so respectful and they're so appreciative of Taylor and what she's done for these people. But yeah, Taylor, if you remember, Sabrina Carpenter like was an opening act for her show when the tour first kicked off. And now she's coming back, and she was on stage a couple nights ago, and she was just as big a star, and she's coming on and everyone's freaking out, and she's become that household name in the last 2 years.
Do we?
That's it. Let's be done.
Yeah, we got the Raw Rundown later this week. I mean, there's more stuff we get into, but we'll save for the Raw Rundown because we have a lot of catching up to do. I got to go watch Landmine, so. I'm an asshole. I'm an idiot. All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on Red Coral Universe, thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check out our private Facebook group called Off the Record. I don't know. I like it. Dax likes it. You should be in it. It's a fun community. We all talk 100%. To each other.
I like that you guys call us out for dumb shit we say. I like that you guys applaud us for fun shit that we say. So please come join us on our private Facebook group. Go to HollywoodRaw.com. There are all of our links there. You can find our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the private Facebook page we were just talking about, kind of any links that are associated to us that you're trying to find, HollywoodRaw.com.
Follow me at Adam Glyn, Glyn. Follow Dax Holt. Dax Holt. I don't spell your name because it's pretty easy. Dax Holt. Holt. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more that came from. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.